There we go. There we go. Now we're back. There we good now? We ready?
Yes.
We are. Let's go. All right. So now my next question. All right. Now, I don't want to word this in a way of it being too confusing, but I don't want to make it too easy for you. All right. So now tell me, what are there benefits to hiring a virtual assistant over hiring someone that's personal, someone who, I can reach out and touch outside my office?
So yes, of course, there are advantages to hiring a virtual assistant. So there are cost advantages. Hiring a virtual assistant will allow you to be flexible with your cost, especially if, let's just say, if it's a project that an individual or a business is working on and is not something considered long term. You don't have to allocate cost into hiring an employee, and then as well as paying the regular hourly salary that you have to pay them, and then have to worry about the separation. In terms of a virtual assistant, we pretty much know what it is. It's a partnership, once again, that can be short term or long term. You can let me know what you need. I complete that task. Once that task is complete, then my job is done for that task until you ask me to do something else again. So that is definitely a large benefit in terms of hiring a virtual assistant compared to having a regular employee.
Now, what are some of the services that your company provides?
Well, we provide quite a few different services. So everything is administrative. So it can be in terms of compiling documents, email management.
Okay.
I'm sorry, say that again?
No.
So it's book, which is pretty much categorized finances within, QuickBooks or whatever financial services you. We also have the service of transcription. So let's just say for you, this podcast right now, if you ever wanted to document each word and, put it into a dictation.
Oh, almost like a transcribe service.
Correct.
Yo, listen. I need to hire her right now. Look at that.
So there are a variety of different services. It really depends on what the person needs. I have been, hired for projects where someone may needed me to compile a presentation or some type of training. So that would be either PowerPoint or, it can be Word documents. It can also be templates that are utilized. Once again, the templates could be handouts. It could be email management. Is there a variety of different services? And once again, every business is different. There's also a research aspect. So a lot of companies, let's just say if they don't have the time, they don't have the time to make phone calls. I am available for research services pretty much once I complete whatever service that is, asked of me. Yeah. You always get in a detailed email of what was completed, as well as any type of meetings that are completed within that research service. Okay. So everything is always documented with what I do.
So now, how do you prioritize your client's workflow? Because you mentioned about email management, and I'm sure that can be overwhelming.
It's all about organization. So no, none of what I do is overwhelming. It really depends on the client. Once again, it depends on the frequency. Some tasks are ongoing and some are not. So it really depends on the assignments at hand that I have to complete based on the contracts that I have.
Now, is your company 100% remote?
I would say it's 90% remote. So the reason why I say 90% is because I do have some clients that are not in the state of Pennsylvania, as I am located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I do have some clients that are not in Pennsylvania, as we do have a contract, or within our contract, if there is a need for me to go to their state, we will arrange that depending on the need. Let's just say if they have some type of conference that they need for me to be the face of the business, we will arrange that in advance. But majority of the business or my task of what I complete is remote. Yes. Now,
is that extra for you to put your beautiful face?
It is not extra.
That's not extra. You're not charging for that?
Everything of what I do is charged, yes. However, it's not extra. So everything is based on the contract. So no, I do not charge anyone extra. We do make arrangements in terms of travel and stay. So yes.
I want to know, because maybe you need to be charging extra, or maybe I can come work for you so I can put my beautiful face on there. Baby, I don't look at that ugly mug.
Nah, you don't say that about yourself.
Listen, if you can't laugh at yourself, way. So wait a minute, now let me ask. So now, how do you structure your contracts? Are they monthly or yearly?
So the contracts are the same for every business or individual. I make it flexible for everyone. So everything is based on the hourly rate. Based on what I do, there is no minimum, there is no maximum. So therefore, whatever I provide for you or whatever I complete is what you're billed for. You're not billed for anything extra. And that makes it, all flexible for everyone. So therefore, you're not paying extra for anything that was not completed, or you have to fill the need that I have to allocate or budget an X amount of funds. So which makes it easy especially for people who are low on budgets.
So now, do you tailor your contracts, or how do you tailor your contracts to fit your client needs? Or do you help them say, listen, you don't need to outsource, or this you should outsource?
So it's a collaborative effort. It really depends on the strong suit that I could bring. Some clients have certain things under control, whereas some clients do not. So it really depends. However, the contract is just more so general in nature to say, okay, I'm providing you this administrative supportive services. However, it's not stating that I'm providing you with just email management, because the task can change.
Yeah.
The task can change. So for week 1, I can be doing email management. For week 2, I could be doing bookkeeping. So it really vary. So I don't limit myself or the client to say, okay, this is the only thing that I can do for you. It can change. Okay. So let's just say I can have a client that's also a business that provides supportive services for other people, and I'm more so their third-party contract. Okay. So there are times where I have completed services for another business within my contracted business.
Wow. Now, are your contracts yearly or are they monthly? Or it's something that you discuss with your client. Say, listen, this should be yearly, or I can do this for you this amount of time.
So we go based on a yearly basis contract, and then we renew it. However, once again, there is no minimum or maximum. It's just more so a protection. The contract is a protection, and the reason why is because there is some sensitive information that I am provided. There are times where I'm provided bank account information, social security numbers, addresses. So the contract not only protects me, but it also protects the client to make sure that information doesn't go anywhere outside of our partnership.
Now, how do you keep your skills up to date? Because I'm sure, especially when in this technology age, things change all the time.
Yes, they do.
Are you constantly practicing?
Yes, I am. So,
wow. Okay.
I can say, within the realm of human resources that I work within, that keeps me fresh on skills. Not only that is, I'm constantly reading. Reading is always a big thing for me. So I learn a lot from reading. And YouTube has always been a big, platform for me. As they say, YouTube University is a lot of things that you can learn. And the reason why I say that is because, once again, there is no cookie cutter situation for each company. One company could have a need that I have never experienced before. So I may need to look up some things, or may need to refresh myself in terms of how to complete a task for a specific client.
Yes. And listen, I'm going to tell you, I learned everything off you. I've learned how to cook from YouTube. I learned how to do my daughter's hair from YouTube. You can learn a lot off YouTube.
Yes, you can.
I'm trying to tell you, I am YouTube educated. I was like, man, where you get your master's from? YouTube University.
Well, no, I didn't get my master's from YouTube.
YouTube University, goddammit. You know what I mean? You want me to build you a car? I got you. Let me look it up real quick. So now, what is the most important skill that a virtual assistant must have?
Oh, wow. That's an excellent question. So the most important skill for A virtual assistant is organization. Organization and communication are very, very important skills for a virtual assistant. The reason why is because, once again, as a virtual assistant, the key is, I'm not exactly sure of everyone else's goals. However, a goal is to assist not just one client, but multiple. So you have to be able to know how to keep things efficient, not only for your client, but also for yourself. Making sure that there is no cross-referencing or cross-documentation with one client between another, or, sending documentation for client A to client B. So organization is a very, very big thing. And that's also in terms of time. Time management skills are very, very important.
Yeah.
Time management is very important because a lot of companies, they have deadlines. And you have to stick to that deadline. Your word is, a key. When you tell a client, okay, I'm going to have this task completed for you by a specific time, that's what they expect. So I make sure that my time management skills are always on point.
Okay.
I make sure that if I give you a deadline, 9 times out of 10, you're receiving the completed project before that deadline. And then, as well as communication. Communication is always a very, very big thing, is because we all come from different cultures. There's a need to listen. And
that's a skill within itself. Because a lot of people don't know how to listen. You hear that, Shar? You don't know how to listen sometimes. When I say Los and Shar in the building, I don't need you to say Shar and Los. When she come back, she going to get me.
Oh, gosh. Yes. Listening is a very, very, very big factor when it comes to the virtual assistant business.
Okay.
Because you have to understand and comprehend what the client needs. And in order to do that, a client can say, I want A, B, C, D. However, you have to be able to gauge what's most important. And then within that communication, ask the important questions around the conversation. So I would definitely say those are the most important factors when it comes to being a virtual assistant.
So now walk me through this whole process of you landing a client or a potential client.
All my clients thus far have been referral based.
Word?
Everyone has been referral based.
You must do a good job.
Yes, I pride myself on so I'm very, very meticulous with what I do.
Okay.
I take pride in my work. I am a product of my work. So I don't just say, okay, I'm going to do a task for you and halfway do it. I take pride in what I do because at the end of the day, I want you to be satisfied. And also my biggest point is do something. If once I do it right the first time instead of having to, do something over. So that's the main reason why I ask the questions during the communication, is because if I don't quite understand, then that means I'm coming back to you multiple times, asking questions, or I'm editing things afterwards. Okay. So if I'm editing, tasks or documents multiple times, then that means I'm not doing my job.
So now we talked about the time management part. And you mentioned about the time management. Now, I know in my business, the daytime business, time management is critical. So how do you prioritize your client's workflow? Do they tell you, hey, listen, I want you to tackle this task first, move on here, or they give you the freedom, I think this is important. Let me take care of this, and I'll take care of this second, third. How do you decide?
So I typically don't decide. We communicate and we decide together as client, and customer. So, that's the great thing about the partnership. I'm flexible, but I also want the client to understand the reason why they want a certain task done first. So during that communication, we can develop 5 or 6 or 7 different tasks that they need done. However, we're going to also ask, does each task have a deadline? Okay. So within those deadlines, and we're looking at, when the communication happens, or how involved is the task? So it really depends. And it's more so, once again, a communication piece. What needs to be done? How involved is it? Is this a reoccurring task? That's another big thing. If it's something that's reoccurring, so let's just say bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is a reoccurring task. That's something that people need on a monthly basis. That's for businesses that don't wait until the November to do all their bookkeeping categorized.
Dang, I think you're talking about me. Yeah, man, don't be shooting them shots at me because you're doing online as is.
No, so it's just, some people have to find ways, especially for new entrepreneurs or new businesses. Sometimes they have to understand things on their own as well and come to a way of organizing themselves. I can also offer sessions on organizing, and they will take those. However, it really depends.
So now, have you ever been put in a situation where a client asks you to provide HR services, and I'm talking about terminating one of their employees? Have you ever been put in that position yet?
So HR services is a difficult piece. When it comes to terminating an employee, that's typically something that has to be done in person. So no, in terms of onboarding employees, yes. Terminating someone, that is something that the person would need to be in person with the employee. And the reason why is because you have to make sure that whatever documentation or keys or access the employee returned. Terminating employee, or shall I say separating employee, is not something that I handle. However, if it's something in terms of documentation wise that can be provided to the employee in terms of when they do separate them in person, yes, I can provide that documentation. Okay. However, that's pretty something that can be done virtually, without any hindrance.
Oh, see, because I was looking to get rid of Shar some. Yeah, man, I'm gonna need to slide some tips.
We're not going to.
I'm not going to do that. That's my bestie right there. So now, are there any, as far as let's talk about work hours,
okay,
or hours on the job? Do your clients tell you, hey, listen, I need you this particular hour, such and such here, such and such there, or do they give you the freedom, to do what you need to do for them?
Once again, in terms of providing these administrative services, a lot of times, because I don't provide telephonic support, where I'm not answering telephones, it's not customer service. So there is not a requirement to assist them certain hours of the day.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much a lot of what I do is, the freedom of my own time. However, once again, once we have that deadline based on our communication, when they want the task complete, is always complete. We meet virtually, either via Zoom or over the phone. We provide updates. I provide updates regularly. And whenever the task is complete, is either emailed or, depending on the client, they may have some type of cloud platform that the documentation can be placed into.
Now, we talked about this before we cut the cameras on. What made you want to start this type of business? This seems very stressful.
It's not stressful.
It's not?
No, it's not stressful. What made me start this business is as a virtual assistant is I have been providing administrative support, once again, 20 years now at this point. Okay. However, as an independent contractor, however, it was just more so on a small scale. However, now that my children are older, as my youngest is 17, I have the freedom now to do me.
Yeah.
So it's more so, I wouldn't say do me, actually reach my goals. So these past 20 years has always been about helping my children reach their goals, putting them through school, helping them, find themselves. Now that they're at that age where they don't necessarily need my hand holding any longer. Yeah. Now it's pretty much my goal to, fulfill my business. This is something that I actually wanted to start officially, I want to say maybe about 16 years ago. However, because of, the family home structure and income, I just stuck with, my full-time employment.
Now you're doing your thing.
Yes,
you're doing your thug thizzle. So now, because now I did some research on virtual assistant providers.
Okay.
And it seems like this is a booming industry, especially when COVID really hit. Now, a lot of people are working from home.
Yes.
Do you, in your future, do you see yourself really hitting that Fortune 500 industry?
Well, for me, yes, that's another good question. So because of my goals and, the foundation of what I am laying at this point, that is the goal, to make sure that I succeed in a way where my employment is solely my entrepreneur.
Yeah. Okay.
And along with that entrepreneurship, it would become an incorporation, and I will have, employees underneath me as my support.
Mm-hmm. So now, do potential clients ask you for, do they want to know your background, or they want to know, hey, listen, are you good at writing, or are you good at speaking engagements? Do they contract you for any type of speaking engagements or?
Yeah, so typically the initial consultation or conversation that I have with clients, it's a two-way conversation. Everything is always a two-way conversation, especially with being a virtual assistant. They want to know what I know.
Okay.
They want to know how I know it, how well I know it. Provide examples, how well do I speak? How well do I write? How well am I organized when it comes to, different tasks or documents or whatever the case may be? Every operation is different. But yes, that is always a very detailed conversation or discussion that I have with my potential customers.
So now, have you ever had any, I would say, bad customers? Someone say, oh my God, why did I take this contract?
So no, I do not consider anyone a bad customer. No.
Customer's always right.
So it's always about an understanding on both aspects, because you have to remember I'm culturally coming from one aspect of the state, and as a virtual assistant, I can be meeting someone from another state. So sometimes that can, shall I say, I wouldn't say be a hindrance, but can,
let's say, difficult.
Yes, it's a little difficult at times. Yes, because I don't want to speak negatively regarding any client, because all my clients are excellent. However, it's more so an understanding piece.
Okay.
Well, when you first meet someone, the way they speak can be different from the way I speak, and vice versa. So with that being said, there is some time in between the conversations where you have to actually learn the customers, the client, in order for you to understand. I can, for one specific verb, I can mean one thing and they can mean something else. So it does take some time to get to learn each other. However, the clients have to understand and be patient with that as well. And sometimes I don't get that. I'm always patient on my end, but the clients, they just want what they want. But they have to understand I have to not only learn them, I have to learn your business. You can't help someone or help someone's business become efficient if you don't know what they're doing. That's very, very important. You have to know what they're doing, what their end goal is, in order to help them the best way possible.
Now, have any of your clients ever asked you to do something outside of the contract? Like, okay, you trying to pull a fast one. You trying to get me to do some extra work that you ain't paying for.
So once again, the contracts are general. So the contracts it doesn't list specifically that I am doing email management or completing email management services. The contract comprised in a way where it has my company name, their company name, when the contract starts, how long it's for, and pretty much any type of legal terminology to not only protect them, but protect me. Okay. So no, I have not asked anyone ask me to do anything illegal of any nature.
So if I got to move 18 keys and I need you to make some phone calls to some Mexican traffickers, which and I outsource your business, but I'm paying you some good money.
I'm not going to jail for.
I love this woman right here. She's like, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it under an alias. She's like, how you doing? My name is C. I'm making a phone call for this JAWN podcast. My employer got 18 keys to move.
No.
This JAWN podcast. All right, so now let me ask you this.
Okay.
I know since COVID really hit, it seems that we have had a boom in our Black women starting their own business. Did you start your business because of COVID, or again, you was like, you know what, I'm kicking this off the ground regardless?
It's a combination of things. Partly, yes, because of COVID. However, the other portion is because I had an injury. I did have another business where I was providing cleaning services to businesses as well as residential customers in the city of Philadelphia, pretty much the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey. However, since having that injury, it changed things a little bit.
You want to talk about that injury? You want to break it down? I know about it. You want to break it down? Because I'm sure somebody want to know, like, well, why do you stop? Because, cleaning business is lucrative. Why you stop cleaning to do virtual assistants? So you want to tell us why?
Yes, cleaning was my life to an extent. I still clean my home. However, I don't do it on a professional level. I'm very meticulous, in a lot of things that I do. However, because of the injury, yes, I did have to pretty much put a limitation on the cleaning, which kind of sort of allowed me to actually sit back and reflect on what I wanted to do more so with the administrative support services that I was providing. Because once again, since I've been doing it for a while, more so on a smaller scale. So now that I'm not doing the cleaning services any longer, I've increased administrative support.
Wow. Well, listen, anybody don't want to know, she stopped doing the cleaning business because she had to put her foot up someone's ass and she couldn't get it out and it wound up breaking her ankle. See, but she won't tell you, but I'll tell you. I mean, you know how we do. You know I'm a shit starter. I love triggering people. So now we talked about skills.
Okay.
What is the number one skill that a virtual assistant must have? Okay,
so if we're going to narrow it to the number one skill as a virtual assistant, I would say communication. Communication has to be it. And the reason why is because along with communication comes comprehension.
Yes.
So with all that together, you can complete or take on any task as long as you comprehend what the person needs. And let's just say if you don't know how to complete the task, if you can comprehend to research something, then you can complete it afterwards. So you don't have to actually know everything. No one is perfect, so you're not going to know everything. And it's okay to let your client know, I haven't done that in a while, or maybe I've never done that before. And there are platforms that are different across the various states. So, of course, there's going to be something that you're not going to know. So with that said, communication / comprehension is definitely the number one skill.
Now, I'm asking some of these questions because, I need a virtual assistant. I'm not joking this time, for real. For real, because I get hammered on my social media. Hammered. I'm because I like to trigger people, but I hate reading the comments. But I do love engaging, but I hate reading the comments, especially when someone be talking about me. I'm like, oh, you little black. So do you handle social media work as well, or is just office administration?
So far, it has been office administration, and the reason why is because social media is a beast of its own. Yeah. Especially now. Social media is more than just reading comments, especially now. Social media has a lot to do with content. Content means creating infographics, creating different types of catchy messages, catchy pictures, images. Social media is not just Instagram. Social media is so many different platforms in one.
To try to get the people engaged.
Correct. So therefore, there are a lot of times people that are in, let's say, advertising, in social media, web development, they will more so do a virtual assistant. There are virtual assistants that specifically handle social media accounts.
Okay.
So I have not had any tasks dealing with social media.
Oh. Would you sometime in the future expand your business to social media?
Sure. So I'm never going to limit myself. That is one thing that I'm not going to do is limit myself. However, when a client contacts me regarding a task, I'll listen to whatever that they need. We'll look at it together, see what needs to be done, and go from there.
Mm-mm. So where do you see your company in the next 5 years?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, definitely do not see myself in the city of Philadelphia.
What?
So
please do not tell me you're going to move to Atlanta.
Which is why being a virtual assistant is such an advantage, because I can complete the task from wherever I go.
Yeah.
However, I do see myself have been expanded to where I would have employees underneath me. So to where I'm at the point where I can have other virtual assistants assisting me with my portfolio of clients.
You know, when you make that money, I'll tell you, I'm working for you. I'm working for you. You know what I mean? This YouTube stuff, oh my God. I love it. So now, where can we find you at? And it will be in the description if you ever need a virtual assistant. So
I am not technically active on social media. However, I do have an Instagram page. However, if anyone does need any type of assistance, administrative support, I do have a website. The website is http://onthespotenterprises.net. We can also be emailed at info@onthespotenterprises.net. That is always the best means to contact.
And what? No phone number?
So
they just want to go. You just want to send them directly to the website.
Correct.
Okay. All
so right. The website does have the phone number. However, because it's virtual, a lot of times I am not always available to answer.
Yeah.
However, we do have support that does answer the phone lines. So, however, the email is always the best means of contact.
Now, she'll answer my phone calls because y'all know I'll be stalking. T, where you at? Pick up the phone. Parking spot in front of the door, T. No, I'm good. I'll walk 3 blocks. I don't care.
You do not have to put my business out there.
Yeah. I'll blast you. You know, I'll put it out there. So look, what we ask of all our guests is we definitely ask you to come back.
Okay.
But we want you to come back to host one of the shows.
Okay.
One of the reaction shows. You gonna do that?
Okay. Sure, I can come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Wait, let me get my clap real quick, y'all. Let me get my clap real quick. So you'll hear that. So she's gonna be back as one of the guest hosts.
Okay.
You know, hey, listen, anything you want to say before we close the show? You know,
sure. I just want to say thank you again.
Some shout outs. Get some shout outs.
Thank you again for inviting me.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Any specific shout outs? I don't want to say any names, but pretty much thank you to everyone that supports me, clients, friends, and everyone that is, within my circle.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of you. I appreciate everyone who has helped me along this journey, giving me the advice that I need at times, and just sometimes just listening to me. Sometimes it always just helps to just listen.
Yes. And you got some very good listening skills. I might have to beat your ear up every now and then. So listen, Ms. Harris, On the Spot Enterprises. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so
much. Sharing your knowledge about owning a virtual assistant company. You know what I mean? So when you become rich and wealthy, you know what I mean? I can come clean your house.
I don't think that's going to happen. My house is very clean.
Well, listen, maybe I'll bring some dirt in and push it back out. I mean, thank you for joining this, y'all. This joint podcast. Yeah, listen, we want to say bye. We out. Deuces. Well, you want to take us home? You want to, take us home?
Sure.
You got to say deuces.
Okay. Deuces.
All right, y'all. We out. Bye.